Hello world, this is yours truly, Paige Diamond, known to many as the Hip Hop Sexpert. I am the owner and editor of hiphopsexpert.com, as well as a singles success coach for B4Play, my singles division for my company, which is Foreplay International Inc. I wanted to give you something different that you can apply right now. Not like any of the other tips that I give can't be applied at this very moment, but I definitely want you to grab pen and paper for this one. I present to you the 20 top most important questions you should ask before giving up the draws. Now, this is, of course, my personal opinion. You can tweak them, add in your, any other questions that you think are important to you. But this is kind of like to be a guidepost for you, okay? And this is for men and women, whether you are straight, gay, bi, tri, doesn't matter, sexual. Well, if you're asexual, you're not having sex, but you know what I meant. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you these good 20. Trying to make this video really short and sweet. Like to hear it. Here you go. Question one is, do you have sex with the same sex? This is if you're straight. If you are gay, then you would say, do you have sex with the opposite sex? If you're bi, then you probably would want to know either way, depending on which side of the track you're on at that particular moment in time, okay? So that's the first question. Two, are you looking for a casual sex? Or are you looking for something that can lead to something long term? Very important question so you don't get anything twisted. Number three, when was the last time you were tested for STIs? And which STIs were you tested for? The reason why you ask this question is simply because people will tell you, oh, I got tested for everything. That is an incomplete answer. The reason why is because there's no such thing as being tested for everything. You will not get tested for HPV unless you actually say literally, I want to be tested for HPV. Other types of STIs, they cannot be tested for until you have certain symptoms. So you can't be tested for everything. There, of course, your normal popular STDs, of course, that they normally test for, but you want to go ahead and you want to get the whole shebang. So when you do get tested, ask for a full panel. Person that say they had a full panel, then I mean, and can't express what actual tests or STIs were tested for in that full panel, then leave that alone. Number four, how many people are you sleeping with presently? You want to know this due to the fact that this is a risk factor. You want to know if you're going to be exchanging bodily fluids with somebody, how many are they exchanging with as well, because that tree is going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. So definitely ask that question because as the saying goes, everybody has somebody. So you just want to know exactly how accurate is that and how many somebodies does that person have, and if they're going to continue to sleep with that person once they start sleeping with you. We'll get to that in a second. Number five, do you carry condoms with you? This is for men and women. Women, there's no excuse for you not to carry condoms as well, whether they're female condoms or, they're actual regular male condoms. Number six, are you open to having oral sex? And if so, how are we going to protect ourselves? Meaning this, are you going to use condoms? Are you going to use dental dams? A lot of people are put off by having oral sex with protective barriers, such as condoms and dental dams. If that is a situation that you are in, then I suggest that you only have penetrative sex, no oral, until you are both tested and you know what the status is of your partner. That's what it is. Let's see here. Number seven, is monogamy necessary for you? Is that something that is an absolute hell yes? It has to happen. It must happen. Some people want to snap. They want to stash it. They want to keep the bash to themselves or the wang to themselves. So you want to ask that question, okay, to see what their expectations are and if you can meet those expectations. Number eight is from it right now. Eight. Okay. How often do you like to have sex and for how long? Everyone has different sex drives. So you want to make sure that you're not getting yourself into something that's way over your head or completely too low that you can't even be satisfied, okay? Number nine, do you like to boast about your sexual exploits to your friends and to others? There are some people that are very private. They don't want everyone knowing who they're banging or how well they, give head or what trick they do. They don't want that. That's free. That's something that's between you and them. Now, if they don't tell you that it's not an issue or they don't care, that's something different. But you do want to ask that question, okay, and explain if that is something that bothers you, and give them the opportunity to express themselves as well in regards to that. Number 10, Do you mind getting tested for STIs prior to having sex the first time? That question right there is so very, very important. And how that person reacts to that question will tell you a whole lot about them, okay? I'm not going to tell you what to do with that. If they say no or whatever, I'll leave that up to you. Because, of course, that's naturally, this is your sexuality, so it's in your hands. Number 11, have you ever been burnt? Majority of adults have been. Is, like a high percentage of at least had one STI. I want to say 1 in 5 or something of that nature. It's like the ratio. So it's a question that you need to ask because, like, once again, you're being involved with someone sexually. You need to know these things, okay? Number 12. Are there some things that are off limits sexually, and what are they? Make sure you know that someone's boundaries and you express your boundaries sexually so that way no one is offended or put in a situation that they don't want to be in. Number 13, why do you have sex? Everyone has sex for different reasons, so you need to check that and see if you're on the same page or if you're just being used just for the sex. 14, do you consider yourself aggressive or passive? Because of the fact that you need some type of balance in that actual dynamic, you definitely want to ask that question for great sex. Number 15, do you attach emotions to sex? Definitely a big one that you definitely need to have a conversation about. Number 16, are you a giver or are you a receiver? Are you a taker, I should say? Everyone plays a different position. You just got to figure out where you actually fit in and, work with that. Number 17, what are your biggest turn-ons? That goes without saying. Most of you probably have ask that question before you ask anything else, right? But it's probably the only question that you guys ask on this whole list on your own without thinking about like, oh shoot, I should have been asking for that. I'm just joking. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Number 18, what's the longest that you went without having sex? This demonstrates whether they have any type of control of their desires or does their desires control them. Number 19, which is how important is sex to you? Some people, it's not a big deal. They like to do other things besides have sex all the damn time. Some people, they're happy as long as they can have sex all the time. Sex on demand, like Comcast. So definitely an interesting question. Definitely something worth noting. And lastly, the 20th question is, who is responsible for birth control? The male or the female? You need to know if this person has a vasectomy. Their tubes are tied. Are they on the pill? Do they always, are they comfortable with forever and ever using condoms? What have you? These things need to be addressed, okay? Because people always are caught up on just the actual thing of getting an STI, but don't forget that you get babies from unprotected sex or, not sexing responsibly. So that is my top 20 questions that you should ask before getting up the draws. Hope this was informative. I would suggest you also answer those questions for yourself because it can kind of give you more insight on your own sexuality and your sexual persona as well. So that way you can better articulate those needs to the person that you're sleeping with or the new person that you will be sleeping with. So that's about it. So remember, don't spend your entire life playing dress up, be and do you literally. Peace, passion, and pleasure. I'm out.